Our government's priorities.
Le chef de l'opposition.
The last 3 days in Canada. Saturday night, a 16-year-old boy stabbed to death at a Toronto subway in an unprovoked attack by a repeat offender. Sunday evening, a father stabbed to death outside of Vancouver Starbucks with his wife and daughter present. Sunday night, a man stabbed on a Toronto city bus and taken to hospital. Monday night, a sergeant, a police officer, killed near Trois-Rivières. And in the early morning of this day, a young girl shot to death in Calgary. This is part of the 32% increase in violent crime since the Prime Minister took office. Will he reverse the policies that caused it?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, we are, like all Canadians, deeply concerned with some of the very heinous crimes that we've seen over the past number of days. The increase in violent attacks on innocent Canadians and on those serving the public through law enforcement is extremely concerning. That's why we will continue to be there to make investments in public safety. Unlike Conservatives who cut funding for police officers, we've invested in public safety. We invested in municipal police officers as we've invested in community safety programs, as we strengthened gun control, as we've continued to strengthen consequences for violent offenders. We will continue to be there to keep Canadians safe.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
People are tired of hearing about his concern. They want to know what he's going to do to reverse the damage he's caused. He brought in a bail system that allows repeat violent offenders back out on the street again and again, sometimes released the very same day. In Vancouver, the same 40 violent offenders were arrested 6,000 times in a year. That's 150 arrests per criminal per year as a result, a direct result of the Prime Minister's easy bail system. Will he replace bail with jail for repeat violent offenders?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, we will continue to work on bail reform, including working with the provinces to ensure that we have a fair and responsible system that keeps Canadians safe right across the country. But if the member opposite was really serious about moving forward on keeping communities safe, he'd back our upcoming Bill 21 at third reading to make sure that we're keeping assault weapons out of the hands of people across this country, that we're strengthening gun control to freeze handguns, that we're continuing to move forward instead of being in the pockets of the NRA to focus on Canadians.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Unbelievable. He thinks that a hunter in Nunavut is responsible for the stabbings in downtown Vancouver. How ridiculous. Under his policy of targeting law-abiding citizens while we're allowing repeat violent offenders to go out on the street again and again, we've seen a 32% increase in violent offenses. And in fact, one of the detectives close to the case in Toronto said that the offender was out again on numerous releases. Probation, prohibited bail, you name it, he's been released on it. This is a full-scale justice system failure. Will he reverse it?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, amidst all this tragedy, it's interesting to see the lengths to which the Conservative leader will go to avoid talking about his desire to weaken gun control in this country, to bring assault weapons back into the communities where they were banned over the past couple of years by this government. We've put a freeze on handguns, the market across the country. We're strengthening gun control, and every step of the way, the Conservative Party stands against it, Mr. Speaker. And that's why I'm asking them, with their concerns about public safety right now, will they step up and accelerate the passage of C-21 when it comes back to this House for third reading?
Leader of the Opposition.
When we were in office, in the last year, there was 124,000 fewer violent crimes than there was last year. Violent crime, including murders, have skyrocketed under this policy of this Prime Minister. He's targeting law-abiding hunters and farmers rather than the repeat violent offenders who are committing the crime. Why won't he look at the evidence which has demonstrated that our streets have now turned into war zones after 8 years of his policy? And will he replace bail with jail for repeat violent offenders?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the member opposite himself brought up what they did under the Harper government in those years. What they did was loosen gun control laws. What they did was make it easier for people to buy assault-style weapons, and that led to direct increases in gun ownership and, unfortunately, in violent crime across the country. That's why we're trying to bring back stronger gun control legislation, despite the Conservatives' ideological opposition to gun control. We will continue to put the safety of Canadians and their communities first. We will continue with stronger gun control laws right across the country.
The honourable member